Okay, good evening and welcome to our February 10th, 2015 Ogden City Redevelopment Agency meeting. Let the roll call reflect that all board members are present. And first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. First minutes are the special meeting of September 2nd, 2014 and the study session of December 9th, 2014. Board Member Blair.
Yes, thank you. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be correct.
And the next minutes are of the regular meeting of December 9th, 2014, and the work session of December 9th, 2014. Board Member Wicks.
Thank you, Chair Heyer. I reviewed those minutes, found them to be correct, and would make a motion that we approve the minutes outlined in agenda items A and B.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Wicks, seconded by Board Member Blair for approval of the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Next item is reports from administration. First item is early termination of the occupancy agreement.
Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Cooper, welcome.
Get him for both items.
I apologize for that, by the way. Chair Heyer, members of the board, good evening. I appreciate your time tonight. Before you is Resolution 2015-2, which approves an early termination agreement with National Federal Lands Conference. You may recall back in July of last year, you approved 5 separate contracts with, 4 contracts with 5 sellers dealing with the acquisition of the property at the Trackline Economic Development area. Associated with the contract with National Federal Lands Conference was also an occupancy agreement. We closed on the purchase contract May 1st, and the occupancy agreement took effect at that point, which allowed the occupant, Bert Smith, to remain on the property for an additional 2 years. So the property in question is this property here and this property here, equaling about 26, almost 27 acres. So in the terms of the occupancy agreement, Bert was allowed to remain on the property for a year on this property and for an additional year equaling 2 years on this property. So he essentially was able to stay there until 2016. Because of the nature of how the Ogden Business Exchange development is progressing, it has become necessary to accelerate the terms of that agreement, the occupancy agreement, and to create new terms under which he would vacate the property. And so in your packet is the early termination agreement. Essentially what that does is that it accelerates not only the date in which he would vacate the property, but it also accelerates the payment terms of the promissory note that was attached to the purchase contract. The original terms set out 5 yearly payments, the first payment being $361,143, and then 4 additional payments of $228,642 to equal a total amount of $1,275,712. So instead of paying that full amount over the 5-year period as originally negotiated and approved in the purchase contract, this agreement before you tonight accelerates that full payment of $1.275 million to be paid to him by April 3rd of this year. That would allow us to then go ahead and close on this property, transfer it to the new buyers, and then allow them to continue to begin building their projects. In the process of doing that, it also accelerates his tenant property. So he's had quite a bit of property on the land, and so under the terms of the early termination agreement, he would be required to move that property, in which he's done a great job doing so. So those are the terms of the early termination agreement and how it affects the originally approved agreement, and I'll take any questions about that.
Any questions for Mr. Cooper?
If there's no further discussion, I will go ahead and make a motion that we adopt proposed resolution 2015-2.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Gochner and seconded by Board Member Garner to accept the proposed resolution 2015-2. And this is a voice vote. Well, let's see. This is a roll call vote.
Board Member Garner,
Aye.
Board Member Gochner,
Aye.
Board Member Stevens,
Aye.
Board Member Wicks, Board Member Blair,
Aye.
Vice Chair White,
Aye.
Chair Hire.
Aye, and that passes. Okay, next item is FY 2014 Annual Report. Mr. Cooper.
Very much. And again, thank you for your time. I think we would all agree that 2014 was a banner year for the city, considering what we accomplished as a community, as a city staff, as a board, as a council. There were some tremendous things that happened. So it's my pleasure tonight to discuss just a few of those things. In your packet, you received the full annual report, which has descriptions and information about each project area. Also in the packet was the budget. I would like to discuss mostly some accomplishments of last year in the summary that I'll present to you now. Just a summary of the overall project areas. We still have 22 project areas. This is the same from as of 2013 to 2014. 5 of those project areas are EDAs, economic development areas. One of them is the URA, urban renewal area, and we have 16 RDAs, which is the older version of an urban renewal area. So that's the split and the makeup of the 22 districts that we have. Not sure what there you go. Out of those 22 districts, this is a graph of how they expire. As mentioned in the study session this afternoon, we do have 4 that will expire in 2015. Let me just read those. 25th Street District, which was established in 1979. St. Benedict Manor, which was established in 81. Union Gardens, which was established in 81. And Washington Boulevard, established in 83. So those 4 districts will expire in 2015, and then you see the districts that expire from here to 2033. And the staff is working on, we're analyzing whether or not districts need to be allowed to expire, if they need to be renewed, if they need to be changed in any way, and we're looking at how that affects the budget as well as the overall makeup of the districts. We didn't add any new districts in 2014. Number 22. This is a representation of one of the completed projects that happened in 2014. This is the America First Credit Union, which is on 20th and Washington Boulevard. It's a $2.2 million building. They've owned this property for quite some time, so it was a great thing to see them finally pull the trigger and build. And if anyone's ever been by there or to there, you'll notice that at least the drive-through is constantly busy. I get feedback from some of the folks that work in that area at the American Can Building, some of the residents there, and it's great to have America First branch in the downtown again. So, wonderful project. Northrop Grumman, this was one of those projects that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. 200 new jobs out at the airport at the Kemp Center. The value of the build-out in the Kemp building was $800,000, and they just received a major contract that they were hoping to get that will basically put them there for quite some time. So it was a $1 billion contract that they received. So they're a great addition to the airport. They're great for that building that has largely been vacant for a long time, the Kemp Center, and so we're happy to have them living and working in Ogden. Out at the BDO, we were able to see the location of Esurance, which is also Answer Financial. That was a joint effort between EDCU, BDO, and ourselves. That building, it was 68,000 square feet, so it's a large building. It's a call center. You can see a picture there of the interior layout. $3.5 million build out for the building. So we'll see the benefit of that both in property tax through the DDO project area, as well as the lease revenue that we split with BDO. Perch is another great one. Some of you might have gone to the ribbon cutting there. This is at the American Can Building. It occupied Building B. Perch was originally Tech Media, which was over on, I believe, 24th? And they moved from that building and opened a 39,000 square foot space here. The build out was a little over $1 million. It's a great space. They hired, I think, 50 new employees, and they are doing well. They changed their name. They did a whole new rebrand of the company, and they're thriving there. So it's great to have them there. As we develop that part of town, it's great to have more people living there, working there. We're going to see the opening of the juvenile justice court here soon, so that'll bring a whole new element of employees and visitors to that section of town. So we're very excited about that. You all recognize this as the Ogden Business Exchange. This was approved. This is a $33 million project, and we're well on our way to see the first 2 users happen there. You'll see the 70,000 square foot building and a 40,000 square foot building under construction this year. Out of the 23-ish acres we have for sale, we have under contract and will sell 11. So we haven't technically even started yet, and we're almost halfway there. So very excited about that. Boresight's another company out at the airport. It's an engineering firm. They do technology and electronics for airplanes and jet fighters. And they had a space at the airport in the Kemp Center, needed a bigger space, needed to own their facility, needed some hangar space. And so they leased some property from the city and are building a new office space with a new hangar space that will allow them to bring planes in and work on them. So that's a $3 million construction cost. Again, this is familiar to you. The Riverbend Apartments, well underway. They're ahead of schedule. The weather's been very kind to them. So they're ahead of schedule. $13 million. They'll probably have Building A, which is that big building that you see, and the 2 side buildings, B and B1, those will be finished this year and hopefully see occupancy very quickly. They're anticipating that they'll get to 80% within 6 months on those buildings. That's their goal. So very excited about that. It's changing the nature of that Riverbend project. Osprey is another great win for BDO, $3.2 million building. They came from Colorado. We did a lot of work with their executive team. They're going to be a great addition to the BDO and to the list of growing brands that we have in the outdoor recreation community. They're very excited to be here. They're actually relocating some of their employees down here, and we've worked at the granular level to actually assist them in finding homes, placing them in the school system, helping them understand the way that we do business in Utah. So it's been very encouraging and exciting, and it's just going to be a great brand to have in the city, and hopefully we get more of their business in the future. So out of those projects that I just listed, this is a graph that kind of shows the valuation of the projects, what we're getting versus what we're giving. And we discussed this last year, so I thought I'd discuss it again. So out of the completed projects that I just covered, they have a total valuation of a little over $7.6 million. You'll see that there is no red bar next to it, which means that for $7.6 million worth of consideration, we, in 2014, weren't required to give anything in consideration. So that's a great leverage there. It doesn't mean that that leverage wasn't spent in other years, but in 2014 there was no outlay to get that investment of $7.6 million. The approved project, which is the Ogden Business Exchange, that's a $33.5 million valuation, as I mentioned. Our total contribution to that will eventually be $12.7 million, and so you'll see that that's still a good investment in terms of leverage. And then the under construction projects, we'll see a valuation of around $19 million, and for that we've given $4.6 million. What that means is that for every dollar we have contributed to these projects, we're getting $3.50 back in return. So that's our leverage ratio, and we're very happy about that. as we do these projects, we always look at the tangible and the intangible return. This number represents somewhat of the tangible return. There's a dramatic intangible return as we look at creating jobs, and not just jobs, but living wage jobs, jobs that are in the technical class, and then also adding a step to that by trying to assist in those jobs in living in Ogden. A lot of times we do a great job recruiting jobs and creating jobs, but we have those folks live and spend their discretionary income elsewhere. So those are some of the indirect impacts that we get for our investment. And that's the summary of the report. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Cooper?
Great work.
Great. Good report.
Thank you. It's been a team effort.
Has the companies ever related to you why they're moving to Ogden? Is there reasons why they're coming here versus other places?
It's a great place to be.
Because of the city council, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I don't.
I'm just going to stop there.
Okay.
No. It varies from company to company. In the case of Osprey, they realized that the cost of doing business is cheaper in Ogden, while still giving them the same types of quality of life that they're used to in a place like Colorado. We get that a lot. Esurance, they look at the workforce. It's a strategic positioning a lot of times in terms of where they need facilities to be placed, but workforce is a huge thing. The mayor touched on that with some of our partners in the community. We have a great, cheap workforce, and people are starting to recognize that across the state. So it varies, and we try to convince people of how great we are, but a lot of times our assets sell themselves.
Do we spend any time at the outdoor retailer show going around and
absolutely.
arms? Do we? Good.
Yeah. So they had the winter show just recently. All of my staff was down there at least a couple hours a day for the 4 days that it was there. I know the mayor goes every year.
All business. I wasn't looking at shiny new widgets.
It's hard, yeah. So we actually create a list of target companies that we would like to engage at the show, both the winter and the summer show, and try to get their attention, at least make the connection for future, yeah. So
That's
it's a big part of our recruiting.
Appreciate your work. You're doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion about this, or can we get a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept for review the FY 2014 annual report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Blair, seconded by Board Member Gochner, to accept for review the fiscal year 2014 annual report. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have some new business, a consideration of canceling a meeting of March 10th, 2015. Do we have a...
I will make a motion that we cancel the meeting of March 10th, 2015.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Wicks, seconded by Board Member Garner, to cancel meeting on March 10th, 2015. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that meeting is canceled. Don't come that night.
I wasn't going to be here, so we're accepting.
The next item is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the board regarding your concerns or ideas for the Ogden Redevelopment Agency. Please state your name and address clearly for the record. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no movement, RDA Executive Director?
I'll just reiterate my gratitude for the staff that works tirelessly on these. I'm always amazed at their energy level and the things they're able to do. I think they do more with less than just about anybody else in the state, so we're lucky to have them.
Agree. Any comments from board members?
In our last meeting, the mayor mentioned the Bike Master Plan meeting open house that was greatly attended, and also we had the Union Station open house. And I really look forward to having great things done for our Union Station as a benchmark for our community.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion from Board Member Gochner, second by Vice Chair White for adjournment. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, just as a reminder, there will be a city council work session directly after this meeting, and the purposes for the meeting are on the agenda.